I'd like to get back to our subject, but before we do that, there's a question, and this is all part of the subject too, on the Mayans. Because Jack asked us the question. According to all these changes that are coming up, and I've listened to you speak about the changes, Earth changes.
Yes.
Are you talking about possible earthquakes and massive changes between now and August 16th, 1987?
Let me say it like this.
All right.
Since I wrote the book, Lord of the Dawn, in 1970, it was published under very unusual circumstances. I didn't mean to be writing a book. I was writing it because I had to write it. And I finished writing it, and I wrote it from a tent on the Rio Grande River in New Mexico. I prayed the flute every morning. I wrote the script on any kind of paper I had. I thought I'd lost the world. I thought in a way maybe this is death. I lived in poverty to do it. And I look back at those times now, and I think something was really going on inside of me.
Major changes.
When the date came back to me, maybe in June of this year, a man up by Gold Lake, up by Boulder, where my partner and I were performing. She is a dancer and I'm a storyteller flute player. And we do Native American dance drama. And the man came to me and he said, "Do you know the date the world is going to end?" And I said, "When is that?" And he said, "August 16, 1987. And I said, "Oh, really?" I says, who told you that?" And he said, "That is Quetzalcoatl's date." I said, "Oh, I'll be darned." I said, "You ever hear of Tony Shearer?" He said, "No." I says, "Well, I'll send you a book." And well, the thing that I mean by it is that someone would say that Lord of the Dawn is a doomsday book. I don't think so.
No, I've read it. It's not a doomsday book.
No. I think it's a very beautiful, it's a love story. And it's a love story that is very personal to me. But I would have to be very honest about that date and what I am looking at. See, my world is about Indian people. I know Russell Means very well. I respect him very much. I also know Jake of White Crow, who is a very different kind of a person. Jake is the head of the National Indian Health Board. Russell Means is an activist in the American Indian movement. I know people who I love in Guatemala and Nicaragua and throughout Central America, Honduras, and so forth. And I don't care much for what's happening to the Indian people anywhere. I do not approve very much of what the school system is not doing to aid the people in preserving the only real ancient people in this land, the Native American people. As I travel around through all of these reservations and I see the people all the time, I pick up on what they're thinking. And I think the date August 16, 1987, for me, in my relationship to Native American people, is that a brand new world is being born. Bring back the Sundance, the real Sundance. Teach the Sweat Lodge, teach it. Bring back the true spiritual traditions that belong to this land. I show you. I speak of 1144 years.
Yes.
Look back 1144 years ago when those beautiful pyramids that Jack and I were speaking of in Yucatan and Guatemala were abandoned in the 9th century. Where were the Protestants at that time? There were no Protestants. They would not be for quite a while yet. Where were the Catholics? What were they doing? Things were kind of rough sledding, wasn't it, folks? But if you would notice, just before then, in the 8th century, a man in North Africa announced himself before the Black Banner. His name was Mohammed. And immediately, a gigantic religion sprang into being, one that has a vast population all over the planet, A new concept was born out of the Holy Land at the same time that an Indian Messiah was born in America. We call him Quetzalcoatl. He was that. And anyone who traces his history and what he does will know that. The return of Quetzalcoatl, let me address that. I do not believe Quetzalcoatl is going to return. I think that's all over. I would not suggest to anyone that Quetzalcoatl is going to return. And if anyone out there believes that they are Quetzalcoatl and they have finally returned, let me say to you, I have met no less than 30 of them. All of them are people who should see a psychiatrist. I mean that. Under all different circumstances, I have never heard an Indian traditionalist that knows anything at all about it say that he is a Quetzalcoatl. That would be absurd.
Absurd is right.
Absurd. It's just